I was looking up the meaning of samadhi, and of course it depends who you wish to follow, even which encyclopedia you wish to look up. And it reminds me that a word is used to convey meaning. It's a tag. Whose meaning are we talking about? Whose use of the word are we claiming when we say the meaning of so-and-so is, that this is in some sense the only valid, acceptable meaning? Or do we mean that it's the one most commonly occurring? Have you really done a comprehensive survey? Is this a reliable statement? I doubt it. It gives us a general idea now of where we're going. But of course some people want to use the word in a particular way. And they may, if they're being helpful, stipulate how they're using the word. When I say so-and-so, I mean such and such. Right. Well, it's now clearer, except of course that you've defined words with other words, and you might be stuck on what he means by some of the other words. And so it goes on. But do you see, it's like spelling, isn't it? There's no God-given thing that says, the word was should be spelt in English W-A-S. It does seem to be common usage, and if you spell it any other way, like Marshall does, hang on, how do I spell it? W-O-Z, because I follow my phonetic system. Well, okay. Nobody's to say I'm wrong. You could say, well, that's not very useful to you. You don't like doing that, and it makes life complicated, not simpler for you. I can understand that. Right. But do you see, that's an extreme case, isn't it? And I can give you all sorts of reasons as to why I spell it that way if I want to follow my phonetical. Sounds like fanatical. Probably almost a Freudian there, isn't it? My phonetic alphabet. And I've talked about that elsewhere. But just as, we're trying to escape from the fact that people have the wrong or the right accent, or the wrong or the right language, or, the wrong or the right spelling. Similarly, the wrong or the right definition. No. Do you find this definition useful? Is it useful when you want to understand what other people mean? Possibly not. It might be worth inquiring a bit more closely as to how they are using the word. So when we say such and such a word means, we might be better employed by saying such and such a word seems to be used in the following way a great deal, can also be used in this way and that way, and I'm using it in this particular way. For some reason or other, so to speak, man has become extremely dogmatic. And I think it's because he's trying to simplify his world. Generalities are useful and commonalities are useful. If we all spoke different languages, we would in effect, none of us be speaking a language, because none of us are used to hearing the language that we're now hearing. Because everybody's speaking something different and means different things by the same sound, perhaps. It would be utter confusion, wouldn't it? So we do strive for a commonality, and that's what we label as right, or true, or valid. Whereas perhaps what we want to say is this seems to be the most useful. And it might not be useful in some cases, that sort of definition is not used in a scientific way, say. In the scientific way it refers to such and such, or in physics it means so and so, in Buddhism it means such and such, but in Hinduism it means something slightly different, and there's 4,000 different views in Hinduism as to what it means as well. It really can be that. And perhaps the reality is that we all use language slightly differently. And this is, well, at times very troublesome, because I say something and you hear it as something else. And praise or blame me accordingly. Well, that's the way it is. Thank you, Dad.